Hello, my name is Tom, and I'm not only here to poorly explain video games, but give poorly thought out financial advice. As someone who has been adulting for quite a while, I feel confident enough to come on here and give the people a warning about the most dangerous trap of any adult's life. No, not that one. No, even more dangerous to a person's wallet. It's credit cards. Credit cards. Now, if you're anything like me, you might have received something in the mail saying that you pre qualify for a credit card. And I might say to you, congrats on such a crowning achievement. The economy has been tough, so all I've been getting are disqualifying notices, stopping me from speedrunning my own financial ruin. In case you weren't aware, a credit card is basically a short term loan taken out whenever you swipe, insert, or tap that plastic card, with the expectation that you, of course, pay that amount back at the end of the month. Now, what happens if you're one of the thousands of Americans who can't meet the repayment of their credit card at the end of the month? Well, credit card companies figured that they can charge you an interest because, again, this is a short term loan, usually determined by what's called APR, which stands for the annual percentage rate, which is basically just a fancy way of saying your interest rate charged per year. So, whatever your APR is, just divide that by 12, it'll give you your interest rate for the month. Now, oftentimes, you won't even feel that you're spending real money because technically you're not. Credit is just one of those financial institutions that just works based off collective consciousness. Now, that is to say, we really evolved from the IOU notes of yesteryear. There's all sorts of credit cards out there with different benefits, and for the sake of simplicity, I'll keep it short, but there's a whole bunch of videos out there on different cards, so feel free to check them out. I think there's a whole tier list. I went down a whole YouTube rabbit hole of tier lists just to see how much poverty I'm in. And at this point, it's honestly kind of weird that we've sorted ourselves into economic classes based on the credit cards we use. Like, I once went to a dinner party with an old friend, and it was time to pay. He just casually whipped out a American Express Platinum card to everyone's shock and awe, and I guess I was a peasant because I didn't even know that I was supposed to be impressed by that. And he basically told me his credit limit was like 43,000, and here I thought my old Discover card with a $500 limit meant that I was balling. Yeah, still can't go over that limit for some reason. Now, if you're sweating the fact that you can't afford to pay back the borrowed money, then don't worry. According to online statistics, and you can't see me, but I'm doing bunny ear quotes that I found on the first page of Google, a lot of people owe money to credit card companies. And you might be asking yourself, what should I do about all this debt? Well, let me tell you, it's real simple. First, stop buying stuff. If you're broke, all purchases are luxury purchases. Your only options is really either death or carefully planned expenditure. Since you don't know any shady people and want to actually continue living, let's plan on paying some of that debt back. Now, people typically recommend two methods for dealing with credit card debt. You either snowball or avalanche. Kinda like the french fry and pizza slice of the finance world, you could say. Snowballing refers to paying off your smallest debt first, which is supposed to be a motivator as you slowly pay off smaller debt to feel more accomplished about having paid off those debts. Now, mathematically, a very inferior method as it doesn't really account for interest rates on those cards. It only goes by the charge on them or the statement balance. But psychologically, it's nice to feel like you don't have crippling debt hanging over your head that could topple your entire life overnight. So if you're someone who rewards themselves when making financial achievements, then this might be for you. It'll provide a nice endless feedback loop of paying off a debt and then adding it back as a reward. It's truly the Ouroboros of the finance world, truly. Now, avalanching is when you take your highest interest rate credit cards and try to pay those off first in an attempt to avoid as much interest charge as possible. Mathematically, a better system as it prioritizes reducing the amount of interest you pay over time, but psychologically, not as satisfying as it typically takes a way longer to pay all those debts off. And while this is probably more fiscally responsible, this is on the assumption that you can handle multiple credit card payments to other cards that you might owe money on, and those accruing interest charges on those other cards as well, because each month you have to make a minimum payment to those cards. So, all in all, a good idea, but in practice, a lot harder to execute. Way less rewarding than the other method, But if you like to min-max your way through life or grind for your corporate overlords in order to escape the cycle, then this is probably the method for you. Now that you have a basic understanding of credit cards, go on out there and spend responsibly. And remember, don't let the overwhelmingly high cost of living prevent you from living the life you want to live by buying everything with a piece of plastic with imaginary money provided to you by an institution that wants to leech you for everything you're worth. So good luck out there and enjoy life. Oh, and don't forget, they can't get to you if you're dead. Unless it's student loans. The federal government will personally find you in hell to make sure you pay that money back. Thanks for watching my video. You're probably wondering why I haven't been uploading. Well, life, family, holiday, there's a lot of changes going on in my life currently, so the videos for me to produce, as bad as they are, is taking me a little bit more time. I'm probably going to be making different sort of experimental videos, as the poorly explained for video games that I usually like to do is taking a lot longer because I've been playing different games to make different videos on. And for me to really make a poorly explained video, it takes me a long time to get through the entire game and kind of formulate my own thoughts on the game and, do a script and everything and do the footage and all that. So it takes me a bit longer to make those kind of videos, especially on newer video games, because some of these video games have like 200 hours playtime, so it takes me a really long time to play through it and kind of get my own opinion on it. But hopefully I can get those rolling, and you might even see some indie games. I've been very much into indie games lately, so expect some of that. But anyways, thanks y'all, have a wonderful night, and here is a picture of my cat. Goodbye.